I've been involved with ADN for a little over 2 years now. I was introduced to the organization by the founder, Almaz, and I found it to be a very compelling and a motivating way to give back to the continent that I grew up in. So ADN to me is playing a very important role. If you look in Western Europe and in the United States, we have a very large community represented by the African diaspora. Many of those people have done very well since moving from Africa to places like the US. But in spite of their best intentions, they struggle to find ways in which they can help their relatives and their country people back home. And there is a big opportunity to help, because if you look at what's going on in the continent today, some of the fastest growing economies are in Africa, and there are a lot of opportunities to help. At the same time, people in the diaspora, they can use some of the money that they have earned and saved to actually invest in opportunities back in Africa. Africa has some of the fastest growing economies right now in the world. And so this is a great place to put some of your money and watch it grow by investing in Africa. Well, so ADIS is an opportunity for the African diaspora to get together and take a lead role in helping the development of the continent that the people in the diaspora come from. And many of these other nonprofits that help in Africa, they are charities. They are ways to provide a helping hand. In this particular case, this is not charity. This is about investment. This is saying, how can we, using some of the resources that we have accumulated over the years, how can we now give that back in a way in which not only does it do good by helping with development, but it also will serve as a great investment for all of us who are involved. And so I feel like this is an opportunity where we in the diaspora, again, are playing a very important role in developing the continent. Charity has its role. We're not here knocking charity, and in fact, there have been many projects over time that have done many wonderful things in the continent. But this is different than charity. This is really about investment. And we think investment, to the extent that we can actually start to build up a lot of momentum, can do things that are much more sustainable and long-lasting. We want people to be independent. We want them to be self-sufficient. We want to start to build vibrant ecosystems for entrepreneurs so that they can start to build large companies that will employ many people and bring much more prosperity to the region. Well, I think, we're still, ADN is just getting started. It's just a few years out of the gate. And I think there's a story that needs to get out, a story that needs to be told. And part of it is going to be told by results. I think as we start to invest into opportunities in Africa, and as these investments start to prosper, I think more and more people will start to take notice. And there are several of us who work in corporations in the Valley, in Silicon Valley, for example. I think those of us who do should get involved in ADN, and they should spread the word to say, look, here's a great opportunity for investment and a great opportunity to help the continent. So if you're part of the African diaspora, I am guessing you've always wondered, how can I help back home? How can I use some of the money that I have saved and accumulated over the years? How can I use it to find good investments back home? I encourage you to come to the Africa Diaspora Investment Symposium. That's in late January. It's a great opportunity to educate yourself, learn about the great investment opportunities, and it's also a great opportunity to meet some of the people who are doing phenomenal work in Africa. I'm a big fan of Almaz Nagesh. She is truly a born leader who is creating a movement in Africa to bring us all together so that we can drive progress, we can start to create the prosperity that will help millions of people for generations to come.